I think you can be in the most healthy relationship possible, and you can be with somebody that you really love and they really love you, and you feel comfortable being yourself around them. But if you're at a point in your life where you don't like, your life is basically enthralled, I don't know if that's the right word, enthralled, whatever, with insecurity, self-limiting beliefs, trauma, unresolved traumas, fear, all of that stuff, you are not being your full authentic self, right? And you don't really know who that true authentic self is because you've grown up, becoming a teenager and adult and having everything suppressed of fear of whatever the fuck. For everyone, it's a different range. For me, it was fear of abandonment and rejection. So I hid most parts of who I truly was throughout the entirety of my teenagers and early adulthood. And the thing is like, to an extent, I knew who I was, but I didn't really know who I was entirely, like who was the real me. And so even if I was with somebody that made me feel comfortable being myself around them, that version of myself was still not really me, because I was still masking and putting on a facade and showing parts of myself I felt confident knowing would be accepted, and hid the other parts that I felt like would be rejected. And once I started healing those parts, it just came to a point, like a breaking point. I could no longer live in my inauthenticity. So it was kind of like I had to, like, literally the universe was like shoving me into the deepest, darkest hole of sadness I'd ever been in my entire life, and making me grow from that. So through that period, or through that darkness, I found the light. Let's just put it like that. I started finding myself more and more and more, and unmasking more and more and more, and becoming the real true self. But the thing is, the people that I had surrounded myself with up until that point, and the relationship that I had up until that point, only knew me as the version that was hiding and masking and putting on facades. So when I started to change and become more of myself, everyone around me was kind of like, who the fuck is this bitch? Like, this isn't who we knew. This isn't who we signed up to be around, be friends with, date, be in a relationship with. So in a lot of ways as well, if those people are not, because of course you attract where you are. And if I'm being an inauthentic person who's masking most of the time, I'm attracting the exact same kind of people. It's just a reality. I'm not saying that to be mean and put anybody down and like call anyone out. It's just how it is. And I was that person as well. And if you are kind of coming to a place where you're finally, discovering your true self, and growing out of that mindset that you need to hide those elements of yourself, and mask, then you will come face to face with the fact that the people that you have in your life and have garnered into your life up until the point that you start making those changes are not going to be like all willing and excited to meet this like brand new authentic version of you, because that's not who they signed up to be friends with, that's not who they signed up to date. And you can't really be mad at them, and you can't really be surprised. Like, to one extent, sure, it's kind of like, all right, bitch, let's, like, if I'm growing into my authenticity, why don't you do the same? Why don't you grow with me? And we can like grow together, and this friendship can blossom, simultaneously with me, or relationship, or whatever the thing is. But at the same time, that's like not how life is. Unfortunately, it is sad, because you do love those people, and even though a lot of the times, maybe not all of them, you love authentically, because if you attracted them with a mask on, how can you really know if the authentic version of you actually really likes them? Unless you become that authentic version and come face to face with them and then see how it feels. But for the most part, they're the ones to kind of like give that back off. And a lot of times you also come to that realization of like, these conversations aren't vibing with you anymore. Our energies just aren't matching. The way we spend time together is not pleasing me anymore. It's not giving me a sense of goodness. I don't know. And so, yeah,